Today, what we will be going through is the name of this surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, this surah is a long surah. It starts from 15 juz and ends in the beginning of the 16th. But one word is chosen for its name. It has the name of Anbiya, it has the name of the prophets in it, it has many other, but what is chosen is Al Kahf. Al Kahf meaning the cave. Kahf means the cave. So in this short discourse, we are just going to reflect upon what this name, as you also, if you can look at the screen as well, so that you understand well the dynamics of the word Kahf. Kahf, as I mentioned to you, is a cave. Now, even there are lessons, there is guidance in each letter of Quran, and even in each name which the surah is named after. So today we are going to learn some lesson from the word Kahf, or the cave. Cave, you may understand, is something which is at the top of the mountain, like a cave of Hira, cave of Sura. There is a story of cave in Islam, in the Sira. Cave of Hira is where the mountain of light, where actually the Wahi began, called cave of Hira. So that's also a cave. So Rasulullah ﷺ used to go there and stay there and reflect and be in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At that time, Quran was not revealed. So there is a lesson for us there as well. If we are not sure what we should be doing, we should be turning to Allah Jalla Majduhu and reflecting deeply in your heart and mind that Allah Azza wa Jal guides us. Then the cave of Sawr. Cave of Sawr is where in the night of Hijrah, the Prophet ﷺ went and stayed there for 3 nights, because the kuffar were after his life, and they wanted to martyr him, they wanted to assassinate, they wanted to harm. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu and Rasulullah stayed in the cave of Sawr there. And here we find that this surah, Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned the many stories, as I mentioned to you, but He chooses this surah, the main story, and the one of the words, Al Kahf. So the mashayikh, the awliya, sulaha, who reflect on the Quran, who learn from the Quran, who learn from the prophetic light, prophetic guidance, to reflect upon these things. They mentioned that if you look at the next screen, they said that the example of this world is like a mountain. So earth, you may say, is like a mountain. So as I mentioned, the cave is in the mountain somewhere, or top of the mountain mostly, which we are referring to. So if you imagine that this whole world, this globe is like a mountain, this dunya. The cave actually is above the mountain, on top of the mountain. The cave here represents the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the obedience to Allah Jalla Majduhu. Like in cave means protection. So let's say you want to be protected from evil, you want to be protected from harm, You want to be protected from anything which is harmful for dunya and akhirah. And the cave represents that protection. So this world and its attractions are like a mountain. If you will not seek the, you may say, protection, then what's going to happen is that you will be, let me show you. Bismillah. Imagine this is the example given, that either you are at the top of the mountain in the cave like awliya Allah are, that they are living, whilst they live in this life, their hearts, I mean physically they might be living in people and in everyday life, but spiritually their hearts are like in the cave attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are not attached to dunya. They are connected, but they are not attached to the worldly things. You see, that is the other thing. For example, if I connect mean I know there is a plate here, there is this, okay, that is good. Attachment means that if it's not there, I become restless. I am so attached to it. And if I get very excited. Like some people, when they, let's say, receive a news of happiness, they got some money in the account or whatever, they found a job and thing. At night time they cannot sleep. If they wake up, they are happy because attachment is there. And if they lost something because they are attached to it, they lost their job or relationship, even if they're nighttime, it's a nightmare for them actually because the attachment is there. Because dunya is such thing that it sometime you see it's benefiting you, and sometimes it's being unfaithful to you, sometimes it is just turns its side, people become double-faced, you never know. So you don't want to be attached to something which is not reliable, which can just go off any time, a bomb which can go off any time. You don't want to be in a plane which can just go down any time. You don't want to drive a car which brakes fail at any time, meaning which is not reliable. You don't want to board a ship which can sink any time. No one wants to. Everyone wants to actually a sound and strong relationship. So once your heart and the purpose of your life is attached and connected with the Lord Almighty Allah, then you can be sure that Allah does not let anyone down. Allah does not change. Allah does not do zulm, unfair. He wouldn't go for someone else and leave you because they have more money or they have this, like people do. Even people leave each other, friends, they become enemies, they leave each other because the other person is. There are many people married and they would just go for the other because someone is rich and things, etc. Or because of fear. So once your heart, you made your attachment only with Allah Jalla Majduhu, the heart finds itminan, rest. Allazina amanu wa tatmainna qulubuhum bi zikrillah. Allah said that those who believe, they find peace in presence and remembrance of Allah Jalla Majduhu. Why? Because they've reached their destination. The situation is not going to change. He is going to be always, Allah Azza wa Jal, as the Quran mentioned, Lanfisamala. Allah does not leave anyone who relies upon them. So he is at now secure, like you when you reach safety and you think you are in a safe house. You are firstly you were in sea, now you've reached land, and this house is protected, etc., etc. You are safe in this country. You feel at rest. Once, let's say, you are in state of war, a country where this many things are happening, and people are fighting and things. You will be restless. There is no peace. There is no. The hearts are not at rest. But any place which is sound, which is established, which is strong, protected. So why we came, people come to Europe, people come to America, Europe, but the financial security, some political security, for social security, the social protection we will get. So they say, okay, we are here now. They're coming across the sea and actually they feel a kind of thing. This is in worldly terms. I'm talking about spiritual terms, that a person, when the heart travels, is attached to the spouse, wife, husband, friend, things, because they themselves are not sound and as 100%, you may say, reliable or infallible. So the heart can never feel rest. If even you have money, you become billionaire, you might, oh, tomorrow war might start, the stock market might crash, the currency might go down. For example, there's always actually something happening, this happening, that happening. But when the heart's traveling, reaches Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's presence and become attached with that, now they find safety, security, peace, tranquility, which they never had. And they never could find anywhere. So that's why this Allah bi zikrillah tatma'innul qulub. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, verily, surely, only the hearts find peace with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His remembrance. Because others, they don't have peace. He can give you pleasure, they can deceive you, they can give you some enjoyment, but no security as such. Of both worlds and things. So, the cave here, so this dunya, this whole world is like a mountain. The cave is like the remembrance, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's how awliya Allah are. They're living in the world, but they are not of the world. They're living in the world, meaning the dunya is not living in them. They are living in the world, but the world is not living in them. So this is the difference. Like I am living in the world and the world is living in me, then there is a problem. But I am living, but the world is like, or Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, how he gives example. He said like a ship or a boat which is living in the water, but the water is not inside the boat. So the boat will actually be safe. But once it gets filled with water, it will drown. So he gives the example, same thing, that if you use the word, live the word in the dunya, but don't let it enter the boat of your heart. If it enters there, then it will rule you. Whoever enters there, it rules you, basically.